Hello guys, welcome back, hope you're doing well. Hopefully you can hear me over this wind. It's again not a particularly pleasant day, but at least it's dry. As we walk up through the forecourt here, you see how bare we're looking at the moment. Don't forget to visit carsbought4more.com, try and sell me your car. I'll try and give you the best price going, etc, etc. Someone commented the other day saying you never seem to sell any cars, all you ever do is buy them. Well, it's a little bit more difficult to film the whole selling process than it is the buying, I suppose. I don't expect most customers would like a camera being put in their face and saying, talk to the camera, you're going to be on YouTube because I'm selling you a car. But trust me, we do sell them. We've not done too badly this month. Buying has been the issue. So, as I say, carsbought4more.com, sell me your car. Today we're looking at a little part exchange beauty. It's on a deal I did. We had a chap come in and he was after something cheap. He wanted something for, I think, about £2,500 was his budget. We didn't have anything here. Most of the stuff we stock here tends to be sort of £4,000, £5,000 upwards. But of course, I've got my little trade site. I say trade site, and a lot of you asked about that. I will get into that. As I say, I've got planning going on with this bit of land that I've got. I don't want to push my luck and film stuff there, and etc, etc. So currently we store some cars there, or dotted around. But at this bit of land, there's scope to store a lot of cars. So some of the cars get stored there. Anyway, this chap, we happen to have a C4. He said, have you got any cheap? I said, well, I've got something down at this bit of land. He'll bring it over. He was interested, brought it over, did the deal. His car he'd bought from another local car sales place maybe a year or so ago. Said he regretted it, should never have bought it. In fact, we always hear the same about this particular garage. I don't know how people can carry on doing business like this when they've got such a bad reputation, but hey ho, they do. Anyway, this car was running out of MOT. He said, I don't think it's ever going to pass again. We fired it up and it made a bit of a funny noise from the engine, a bit of a hollow, sort of droney, probably a bit of an exhaust blow on the manifold noise. And it's generally a little bit tatty, not too bad, but I sort of said, well, I'll give you 250 quid for it. I thought, worst case scenario, we get this deal across the line on the C4 and I've got this, and if I have to scrap it and, you know, get 250 quid back, wipe my nose with it, then so be it. But I've got a bit of a dilemma now because it probably needs a bit of work to make it ready to sell. Again, back down the trade site. But I can't decide whether to do it or to scrap it or sell it as a spares and repair project. I don't know, so maybe you can help me. I mean, by the time this video goes out, I might have already decided. But either way, talking out loud like this, talking to you, will help me mull it over, I suppose. So let's check out the car. And what we've got is a 2011 Vauxhall Corsa Energy. I can't actually, off the top of my head, remember what size engine this is, but it is a little petrol. I think it might be a 1.4 in black. There's a few questionable bits of paint. I don't know how well that shows on camera. Probably you can see that. It's very dull there. Someone's done a paint repair and it looks pretty bad. Oh, and there as well. It's got alloys, that's quite nice, and they look okay, to be fair. As we get around the back here, damage to the bumper, look at the state of the bumper. Again, this side, so really, I mean, you'd want to paint the rear bumper, wouldn't you? And I don't know how well you'll see, it's got a few dings and scratches, and it would definitely it would definitely benefit from a good polish, a good cut, and really shine it up. But again, would it be worth it? There's a lot of labour involved in that. Not too bad around the front. A little scuff there. Tyres are all reasonably okay. Half worn maybe. Okay, quite good there. Yeah. So all the tyres are illegal. Might have some potential engine issues, as we discussed. Bodywork wise, it's not the best, but at this sort of price range, what this would probably be, 1,500 quid probably, with a new MOT on it and that sort of stuff. It doesn't have to be perfect. Look at Chris and Ben, cheap dingers, scratches and that don't matter at this price range.
And at this price range, you don't need to worry about scratches. or paintwork. Under £1,500, they will sell within 7 days.
I'll put a clip in there for some context for those of you who don't know about Chris and Ben, two of my absolute personal heroes.
So we bought this Dinger for £950, and we'll be selling it for £1,500. No repairs are needed, and we'll be only spending £50 on advertising and fuel.
Their fashion sense, of course, as well, something to aspire to. Anyway, before we have talk about the engine issues, let's have a look inside as well and see what's going on in there. So, I believe we do have 2 keys, but both of them are like this. And the buttons have not only have they worn through, but someone's carried on pressing them so much that the little micro switch on the key has just been mashed off. So is this locked or unlocked? It's unlocked, and it's not too bad in here actually. I don't think anyone's cleaned it, so we must have brought it in a reasonably clean condition. It's a 5-speed. We've got our standard CD30 MP3. I wonder how many of these there are in circulation, because they're in this, in Corsas, Astras, Vectras. They're even in the Vauxhall van. That's where I knew them from, the old Vauxhall van I used to drive around in when I was doing plumbing. So yeah, there must be absolutely tons of these in the world. We're only on 81,500 miles, so mileage is quite decent for a car of this age. It's not minters in here, but it's actually not bad. You know, it would clean up if you really wanted to go to the effort of doing it. Boot. So we've got some rubber checker plate mats. Not a massive fan of those, to be honest, but I do like a rubber mat, just not checker plate. Missing our spare wheel. That's a bummer. Right, we've got a jack, but that's not going to get us very far without the spare wheel. Okay, so just a few more details about the car before we get into the mechanical. Like I say, it's quite tidy in here, nice mileage. Everything seems to work as it should. Do we have, yeah, we've got cruise control, steering wheel controls, all that sort of stuff. So quite a nice little car really for what would be 1,500 quid all in. No service history, sadly. There is the sales invoice from a year ago from when the chap bought it from the garage locally. Their extensive warranty sort of exclusions, etc., which is contradictory as well, because in one place it says it's got a 1,000-mile 1-month warranty, in another place it says a 3-month warranty and all that sort of stuff. So no wonder they've got a bad reputation. Yeah, assuming this car had a healthy engine and we could have just tied it up, stuck an MOT on it, checked everything over, and without spending a huge amount, say we spent twice again, so it's 500 quid all in, there'd have been £1,000 profit in this car. I don't think that's going to be the case with this one. Let's pop the bonnet, have a look under there, and talk about why I'm not sure what to do with this car. And here we are, and I've just checked, it is a 1.2 engine, which, as far as I'm concerned, is the one to have over the 1.4. It's cheaper to insure, it feels a lot nippier than the 1.4 in these does. Of course, there is the 1 litre, which is also very good, but I think the 1.2 is a good mix of power, economy, and when it comes to insuring it for youngsters, it's pretty good. But actually the 1.2 is a lot nippier than the 1.4. The 1.4 sluggish, I almost don't know why they made it. Anyway, this particular one, not that great. I suppose I should have fired it up so we could hear what's going on. But before I do that, let's have a look around here. No signs of any oil leaks really. It's a bit cruddy down there, but nothing major. Let's take the oil cap off. Okay, so here we go. Oil looks okay. A bit sort of mucky at the top, but nothing major to worry about. Let's check the dipstick. Okay, that oil all looks nice, doesn't it? Let's check the coolant. Oh, there is no coolant. That's odd, isn't it? This goes to show where, I've said before, you look at a car and you take the oil cap off and it looks a bit gunky and creamy under there and you think, oh, it must be head gasket, and it's not. Well, here's an example. There is no gunkiness under the oil cap there, but this head gasket well and truly has gone. I can tell you that because we put the sniffer test on this bottle, and what you do is you run the engine, you put this on top of here, and you've got a little bottle of fluid in here, tester fluid. It bubbles through and it changes colour basically. So as it changes colour, you know that it's got a head gasket, you've got exhaust gases coming through your coolant system basically, and that is exactly what's happened with this. The head gasket has gone. So if we were to sell this car, or want to sell it as an on-the-road drivable car again, we're going to have to fix the head gasket on top of whatever this weird noise is, which I'll fire it up now so we can hear it. It could be to do with the head gasket blowing and the exhaust bypassing through the head. So I guess what happens, I mean, to be fair, I'm not an expert, I didn't really necessarily understand, but what happens, obviously, on your head, where the head gasket is, you've got your exhaust, you've got your coolant, you've got your combustion, all this sort of stuff, all in there, and they're all got a gasket that goes around each of these different things that's going on. Sometimes you will get coolant going into the oil, oil going into coolant. Sometimes you just get exhaust going into the coolant, which is probably what's happened here. Somewhere on here, perhaps somewhere along the back here where the valves and everything are, part of that gasket that would go along here has just blown through, so it's porting between the coolant channels and the exhaust channels. So what's happened is probably some of the coolant's gone into the exhaust and it's just blown out the back and burned off, and then you're getting the exhaust coming back up through your coolant as well. So it's probably not interrupted the oil, it's probably not contaminating oil across to coolant, but it is exhaust to coolant, if that makes sense. So that's the type of blow that we've got on this head gasket. So yeah, definitely going to need to skim the head, new head gasket, new bolts, refit it, retime it, timing belt kit, all that sort of stuff, because that all gets involved as well, and you don't really want to fit the same timing kit, do you? So yeah, price starts racking up a little bit. Let's fire it up and hear what this sounds like. So hopefully you can hear that kind of grinding, whirring noise coming from down here somewhere. And I think I am now, in my brief discussion with Steph when we're talking about head gasket and this, I think that is probably the water pump running dry, being a bit noisy. So that's, you know, when you do your timing belt on head, you're going to do the water pump as well. So yeah, it's starting to rack up. It's obviously not the tidiest car in the world. I could probably maybe stick this up, put it on auction, maybe get 500 quid as a sort of spares and repairs, telling someone that it needs a head gasket done, double my money. Or I could put some money into fixing it up. Maybe I should pop into the office, do some quotes. There's not much sense in driving this, because it's probably just going to do more damage than good. The chap has just been driving it around and he drove it to us, but you know, I can't really in good conscience carry on doing that if I'm going to sell it to someone else. So we did actually take it out for a quick test drive and we brought it in before we knew that head gasket had gone. It all seems to drive okay, so there's no issues there. It's just going to be what this is going to cost. So let me pop in the office, I'll do some quotes, and then we can figure out whether we think this is a saver or a scrapper.
Again.
Hi there, it's Joe calling from Barrow.
Hi, alright.
Not too bad, yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
Good. Could I give you a reg for a couple of prices?
Yeah, of course.
It's Lima Delta 11,
Yeah.
Whiskey Lima Juliet.
Vauxhall Corsa.
That's it. Timing chain and water pump kit, if they come as a kit.
Let's have a look. No, the timing chain doesn't come with the kit. I think the water pump doesn't come with the timing chain kit.
Yeah, sure, okay. Well, I will need both, if you could price me both.
I shall, yeah.
And a head gasket as well.
Headset, bolts, and oil filter.
Headset, bolts as well, please, and an oil filter. I'm also being told.
Is Dan shouting at you or Steph?
It's Steph, yeah. He's trying to make it sound as bad as possible, so I don't ask him to do it.
yeah, that's it. I don't want to do that job, Joe. Don't give it to me. Send it somewhere else.
Yeah.
So is it the head gasket set you're after, or just the head gasket?
Set, please, yeah.
Set. Okay, so timing chain kit, I can get for next day at 321.79.
Okay.
The water pump is a Napa one at 57.33.
Okay.
Head bolt set is £29.81.
Okay.
Head gasket set £88.40.
Okay.
The oil filter is £3.52.
Let me write this price up and I will let you know if we need it.
Yeah, of course, no problem.
Alright, thanks so much for your help.
Okay, no problem.
Cheers, mate.
Bye.
Right, so looking at it quickly, the Motor Factors route probably isn't going to be the one because it's quite expensive. Timing belt kit, £321.79. Water pump, £57.53. Head gasket set, £88.40. Bolt set, £29.81. Oil filter, £3.52. And then we need to get some tools, timing tools, because we don't have them. So you can get one of those kits on eBay for about 27 quid. And then, of course, we need to skim the head. That's 80 quid. So that totals £580 and 85 pence, more than double what the cars cost already. And there's about 6 or 7 hours of labour in that as well. If you look at getting the parts on eBay, it's massively cheaper. You can get a head gasket and timing kit all in one with the bolts and everything, 114 quid. Then you need to get a water pump separately, which I think we're going to need. So that's 28 quid on eBay. Tools, same price, as is the skim. So tools 27, skim 80, filter, maybe you get one cheaper on eBay, I doubt it, but 352. So 252 and 52 pence. So again, less than half the price of going through the Motor Factors. There's still 6 or 7 hours worth of labour on there. So let's say it's 500 quid for the car plus parts, and then 6 or 7 hours worth of labour. I don't know what someone's going to charge you for that. Well, let's have a look. If you were coming to us, 7 hours of labour would cost you 420 quid plus VAT. So it's just not worth it for me, I don't think. Steph has offered to do it at home in his garage out of hours. Of course, I have to pay him some overtime to do that. But if we're looking at a 600 or 700 quid profit, probably best case scenario, and then people turning up and picking at it because A, it hasn't got service history, B, the bodywork is just rough. It's not the car to spend the time and energy on, really. I think if we were going to do that, it would be for something that was a nicer example in the first place. So I think this one is a no-go and we will just scrap it. In fact, I'm not going to scrap it. I think what I'll do is I'll put it on Facebook Marketplace or something, project for someone. I'll say, look, you can get the parts, 250 quid, the car's 500 quid. If you can do the work yourself, then you're going to be quids in, aren't you? You can have a 750 quid car that you can, is that right? Yeah, 750 quid car that you could double your money on. So hopefully there'll be someone who wants it that way. If not, we'll have to scrap it. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please subscribe. If you're not, thank you for continuing to watch, and I will see you next time.